Alright, welcome to number 10 bonus decks. I've had a few questions about how do I get such and such into my deck. For example, how do I get the Buratino into my deck? And let's go over that here. So if we go into the armory, this shows you every unit for all the nations. And let's look at the Buratino, for example. So we don't want to see any of the NATO units. Let's click that. Now they won't show up. You see how that's grayed out. The Buratino is a support vehicle, and it's down here at the bottom. So here's the Buratino. Okay, here it is. It's in the armory. How do I get into my deck? Well, here's the situation, folks. The Buratino is a prototype. So you'll see prototype, yes. If a vehicle is not a prototype, like for example this East German SFL support mortar or artillery piece, it doesn't say that it's a prototype. Okay, so here's the thing we need to know. If you want to be able to have access to prototype units such as the Buratino, you have to create a deck specific to the Soviet Union here, okay? So only a USSR deck will have access to the Buratino. That's the only way you're going to get it on the field. Okay, what do I mean by a USSR deck? Okay? So when we go to deck, and we have our list of decks here, here's all the custom ones I've made, here's the standard ones. Let's create one. And let's call this Buratino. Alright, well we need to select a faction, okay? Buratino is not going to be found in NATO. It's going to be found in Pact. Now if I hit create right now, I won't be able to use the Buratino. I've got to select a bonus. First of all, I have to select a national deck. I have to select the USSR in order to get access to the Buratino. Now, furthermore, you can select types. Okay, airlifted, armored, air assault, marine, mechanized, and para. Let's say, for example, I select armored. I can only put in units into my deck that are assigned to the armored specification. Alright, what do I mean by that? Well, I'll show you. Let's just create this, and let's get the Buratino on our deck. So right now we have Pact, the name of the deck, and we select USSR. We create, and it shows up here as Buratino. We click on edit. We see there's nothing going on in there. We click on the support tab. And here we go. Buratino. There, I can put it in my deck. Perfect. Now you'll also see that under the type it shows armored. So if I was to select yet another bonus to the USSR, if I wanted the Buratino, I would have to select the armored specification. We can click, for example, the Buck M1. We can see the type down here. It'll show up in mechanized and armored. And the Strela, it'll show up in armored, mechanized, and airlifted. Okay, so let's say we're creating another deck here. Let's create another. Let's call this Russian airlifted. Pact, select bonus, Russian airlifted. Okay, create, find it, edit it. Let's go to support. Oh, I want a Buratino. And the Buratino's not available because it had, if you recall, it had the armored type specification. It did not have airlifted. So right now, on all these units, if we click on any of these, somewhere down in here under the type, we're going to see airlifted. Airlifted. Airlifted, mech. Airlifted, marine, para, air assault, mechanized, armored. Some units show up more prevalently than others do. command vehicles here. We see we don't have as many command vehicles to choose from, but the ones that we do are in the airlifted decks, amongst others. Okay. Also here, we note a year, 1982 for this command vehicle, the Ural, 1976, the Mi-26, 1983. Alright, let's say we're going to create yet another bonus deck. Let's call it Russian Para 1976. Select our bonuses. We're going to make it Russian, we're going to make it Para, and we're going to make it before 1975. Okay, so that's a typo right there, 1975. Alright, so we'll create that. And I like to call these spam decks because you get the 80% availability for all the units you use. Where we are, Russian Para 1975. Okay, Russian Para 1975. Oh, I want a Buratino. Too bad you don't get a Buratino. For a few reasons. First of all, Buratino does not show up in Para. And second of all, the Buratino is not a 1976 and before type vehicle. So you notice you get a lot fewer units to choose from here, right? No tanks at all in the Para. Only a few vehicles, some planes. So why choose Para? Well, first of all, why choose before 1976 is because you get a lot more of the actual troops. So here, these Factoria, I get 21 in the armory, and actually when I get out onto the field, there's another 80% more. So I can spam out a lot of units by going with these pre-1976 decks. I would say this is a bit more advanced, and you definitely do not need to have bonus decks in order to win battles. I play with 4 decks. I play with a NATO deck that has no specific faction, no specific country. It has no type bonus, and it has no year bonus. Then I also play with a pact, same thing, no other bonuses. Then I play with a US deck, and that is a NATO deck with US specific country. I'm limited to the US units, but I also get all of the US prototypes, like the Nighthawk and the Apache. And then I also play with a Russian deck, or a Soviet deck. So that's just a very quick introduction to bonus decks. Just please remember you do not need to create bonus decks in order to win games. So there you have it. That's Bonus Decks 101. I guess the main point to take away from this is if you want prototype units, anything that says prototype on it in the armory, if you want that, you can only find it when you create a national deck. Okay? There you go. So if you want the Buratino, you have to create a packed USSR deck. Boom. Hit create. Boom. You've got the Buratino. Everyone have a great day.